It's Jahar again. So 2 days ago, when I saw Frozen 2, after I saw Frozen 2, I finally saw Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and it was actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I honestly didn't know if it was going to be any good, but I actually really liked it. You know, um, it was kind of sad at times, like when Aurora thought Maleficent had turned all evil again. And then everyone thought Maleficent had cursed the king when it turned out to be the queen, which was beyond messed up. I mean, she did that to her own husband and everything she did to her son. It was just beyond messed up. But at the very beginning, Philip proposed to Aurora. I almost said Maleficent. What the heck? That would be the weirdest couple ever. No, Philip and Aurora. I can't even speak now. Okay. Anyways, it was kind of funny because Aurora was all busy and the fairies were trying to lead her to Philip, and then she was all rambling like, I'm really busy. He was like, if you're busy we can do it now. But then she was like, wait a minute, you're in your formal clothes, what's going on? And he was like, if you're busy. She was like, no, not busy at all, I'm listening. And she was all into what he had to say. I don't think she knew he was going to propose, but she did know it was going to be something big because he was in his formal clothes. And so she proposed. So, and then he proposed, and she said yes, obviously. And then and they had to tell their parents. Philip's dad was obviously thrilled. I actually really liked Philip's dad. He was a good king who just wanted peace. Phil's mom, on the other hand, didn't look so convinced, but she says she finally accepts them because apparently she didn't in the past. I think Philip said he's loved her for 5 years, so I guess this is 5 years after the movie was taken or whatever. It took them 5 years to get engaged. But, and then the mom went to the little basement thing and showed the kidnapped fairies and his little goblin working on some serum or something, whatever it was. But then Aurora told Maleficent, and she was, Maleficent was like, poor boy, he'll get over it. And Aurora was like, I said yes. And Maleficent was like, no. And Aurora was like, yes. And Maleficent's like, no. And Aurora's like, I was asking for your permission. And Maleficent was like, neither was I. She didn't like Philip, but I don't think it's because of his characteristics, because he's actually a really good guy. I think her problem is that she was afraid that he would break Aurora's heart like Stefan broke Maleficent's, you know, which is understandable. She just wanted to save Aurora from all of that heartbreak. And then they went to dinner at Phil's parents' castle, and it was awkward. Everyone was terrified when they saw her walking up there with Diablo and Aurora at her side, and it turned out disastrous. The queen kept throwing in these little tidbits trying to get under her skin. Finally, she snaps. That's when the queen curses her with the spindle that was used on Aurora, and and it looks like Maleficent did it because she snapped. She was all glowing green and angry, and then she thought Aurora abandoned her, so she left and found a bunch of fairies just like her, you know, with the same wings and everything. And Aurora tried to find her to undo it, but couldn't because she wasn't there. She was shot down, and then Diablo was turned to human, couldn't turn back into a raven. And then she was saved by one of them and was brought to their place, so Aurora couldn't find them in the Moors, her kingdom, because she was queen crown of the Moors. And you find out that her castle, Stefan's castle, since it was never her home, was given to the people. But Aurora and Maleficent weren't actually together that much in the movie, you know. Apparently they were, you know, they both thought the other one abandoned them. and Aurora was trying to appease Philip's mother, who wanted her to. The fairies made Aurora a dress she wanted to wear, but Philip's mom wanted her to wear the dress she wore to marry Philip's father, and they decided to have a wedding and invited all the creatures. And I just knew the queen was up to something. I just knew it. But then I was like, nah, I mean, Aurora probably insisted that they come. I mean, they're her family, you know? But they wouldn't let the humans in the chapel, which was really weird. And then they tried to curse all the creatures in the chapel, which was messed up, which was beyond messed up. They locked them in there, and then Aurora discovered the queen's secret, so she got locked up too. What Aurora was really smart though, she threw some cloth and sheets or whatever down the window, making it and tying it to the bed, and then made a little scream, making it sound like she just went down there. So the guards went in there, and she went out the door and locked them in, which was really smart. So she didn't actually have to do that, but she did kind of later on, because she was running around the castle trying to dodge the guards. When she finally ran to that in, and it was like right below the room she had done that in, so she ended up going down it anyways. And then the bed like boom through onto the balcony, and she kind of swung through the window below, the door below, and ran into Philip's arms when he was and the bedside of his father, and she was all scratched up and stuff. And then that's when the war had started with the fairies had come. Maleficent hasn't come yet at this point, but they have, and they had started the war, or the queen started the war. But Aurora told Philip everything that happened, and I love when Maleficent showed up and was gonna attack the queen, and Aurora was like, "I know you. You are my mother." It was so sweet. And then that's when the queen had to ruin the sweet moment and shot an arrow at Aurora, making Maleficent turn her around and got shot herself and turned into dust. Aurora started bawling on the ground. She tried to go after the queen, but the guard stopped her. And then Maleficent came back as a dragon. I also like the scene when the fairies was about to attack Philip's friend, who was one of the guards, and Maleficent held an iron sword on his neck, and then he was like, "No fair folk will die in my kingdom," and pushed it away. And the fairy was all confused, looking at him like, "Did a human really just spare my life?" And then he flew away. I was really sad when that one fairy died, who was all I don't remember any of their names. But he was the only one of the fairies who wanted peace. Everyone else wanted war with humans. And then he was the one that had to die. I think he should have been the head fairy, because I didn't like him. All he wanted was war, kind of like the queen. But this guy actually wanted peace, kind of like the king, you know? So the king survived, he should have too. But the war was over. And what the queen did was messed up. She threw Aurora off the building, so Maleficent, still in dragon form, would go down and save her rather than chase her. But it didn't save her, because Maleficent did end up turning into a goat, which I thought was good. It was funny because when they were at the wedding getting ready, Philip saw her idea. I was like, she could turn her back probably. And the king walked up. He was like, "Only if we want her to." And then he was so happy to see his dad. He completely forgot about his mom after all the hell his mom put him through. I'm not surprised. She did just curse his father and tried to kill his fiance. So he's probably not that thrilled to have his mom back at the moment. But I love the scene when Aurora asked Maleficent to give her away, and then Maleficent was like, "Never." And Aurora was like, "No, will you walk me down the aisle?" And Maleficent was like, "Oh, Yes, it was so sweet. And then she just made our scars or little wounds disappear, and then created her a nice gown. And her aunties could not resist. She kept changing the color as she walked down the aisle because they couldn't agree which one was better for her. But then they finally did agree, and she married Philip, and it was sweet, and I loved it. It was actually a really good movie. I liked it a lot better than I thought. I like the final battle. I love the wedding. I love Aurora and Maleficent rekindling their relationship, and it was sweet, and it was a good movie. So if you have not seen it, you should see it, just like Frozen 2, because they are both really good movies. I will make 2 more videos tomorrow. But till then, please like and subscribe and comment what you thought of Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, your likes, your dislikes, your overall thoughts of the movie, period. Have a lovely day.